Hello dear students, welcome to Computer Science Department. So we are in second chapter, that is input, output and memory devices. We already covered some of the input devices as well as some of the output devices. In input devices we have discussed keyboard, mouse, scanner, OMR, OCR, etc. Similarly, in output devices we have discussed monitor, printer, speaker, plotters. Yes, those are the output device. So now we are going for the third part, that is memory devices or storage devices. We are discussing here the memory devices or storage devices. So then what do you mean by memory? Yes, what do you mean by memory? So memory is nothing but it is a one place. Normally, it is a place in computer where we can store data as well as instructions. Yes, so we know that in block diagram of computer, input unit receive the data from the user. In memory unit, we are storing those data. In memory unit, we are storing those data. Just recall that block diagram, that is a memory unit. So that part we are discussing here, memory unit. So memory devices or storage devices. So what is memory? It is a storage part of the computer where we can store data and instruction. Means it is a one place. Memory is nothing but it is a one place where in computer. It is a place in computer where we can store data as well as instruction. Is nothing but memory. To store the data or instruction, we require memory, that is a memory devices. The device which we are using to store the data is nothing but memory devices. Yes, memory and memory devices both are almost same. So memory is nothing but it is a place. Now memory card and yes, memory card. Memory card means it is a one card. It has some space where we can store some data. Similarly, in computer also, if you want to store anything, means it may be data or it may be instruction, whatever it is. If you want to store anything, we require memory. So to store that, we require some memory devices. Those are nothing but memory devices. So the next one is, so how we are measuring the memory? So nowadays we are using the words MB, GB. So what is that? So we are size of the memory. Yes, the size of the memory. So while you are purchasing any mobile, what you do? The storage capacity 64 GB, yes, 125 GB or 40 GB. Like this we are discussing. The same thing, the storage capacity. The storage capacity is measured in terms of bytes. In terms of bytes, the number of bytes, how many bytes it will take, like this, right? The storage capacity we measured in terms of bytes. Yes, ಎಷ್ಟು store ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. So this bytes is now common day. So then what do you mean by bytes? So first we discuss what do you mean by byte. So before going byte, we'll discuss something here related to memory. So we know that computer understands only 0 and 1, and whatever we are supplying data, that is all converted in terms of 0 and 1 only. Yeah, suppose if you type A, so if I press A, but in computer the data is stored like 1001, like this, means in the form of 0 and 1s only that data will be stored. Suppose if I write computer, so that computer word, how it's stored in computer system? In terms of 0 and 1. 0 and 1 format dalli store agtade. Is it clear? So you just remember that. So 0 or 1, what we are using in memory, that we call it as bit. Yes, assume that if I write like this 100010, whatever it is, this is normally called binary numbers. Means computer understands only this. So these single digits we called it as bit. This is one bit, this is another bit, another bit, another bit. It is a collection of bits, not bits. It is a bits. So the single, either it is 0 or 1, we called it as bit. So here how many bits? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 bits. Is it clear? So either 0 or 1, we call it as a 1 bit. This is 1 bit, this is another bit, like this. So 1 bit is nothing but, there may be 0 or 1. We call it as bit. The second, after this, 8 bits. Suppose there are 8 bits. So here how many bits? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I write one more, whatever it is. So here I written 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. It's not like that 1, 0 only. You can write anything. Yes? So if there are 8 bits, suppose 1, I will write here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It may be 1, it may be 0, or the mixture of 1 and 0, whatever it is. So I want how many? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 bits. So the group of 8 bits, the collection of 8 bits, the collection of 8 bits is nothing but 1 byte. We normally call it as 1 byte. Is it clear? It normally navate. Arda dozen, half dozen, 1 dozen. 1 dozen ಬಾಳೆಹಣ್ಣು ಕೊಡು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. 12 ಬಾಳೆಹಣ್ಣು ಕೊಡು ಅಂತ. Yes, 12 only. But we will use it as a dozen, 1 dozen. Is it clear? So similarly, here, if there are only single, either 0 and 1, then we call it bit, 1 bit, 2 bit. If there are 8 bits, the group of 8 bits, then we say that it is a 1 byte. If there are 8 bits, we call it as 1 byte. Yes? So suppose this is 1 byte. Similarly, next, if there are 1024 bytes, 1 byte means 8 bits. So assume that this is 8 bits, 1 byte, 2 byte, 3 byte, 4 byte, 10, 100, 200, 300, 1000, 1024 bytes. Then we call it as 1 kilobyte. It is measured in KB, 1 KB. So 1 KB is nothing but, here KB means kilobyte. KB stands for kilobyte. 1024 bytes, we called it as 1 kilobyte. In normally 1 ton, 1 quintal. Yes, how many kgs? We know that. Right? Similar way, if there are 1024 bytes, 1 byte means 8 bits. 8 bits, the again 0 or 1, 8 bits is a 1 byte, 2 byte, 3 byte, and so on. 1024 bytes is equivalent to 1 KB. If there are 1024 bytes, then we say that the size is 1 KB. KB is nothing but kilobyte. So this KB, you know in your mobile. Suppose you have any file, its size in terms of KB here. Sometimes KB, small file. If there is a small file, there is a KB. Next, 1 KB, we know that. Then 2 KB, 3 KB, 4 KB, 1000 KB. Suppose there are 1024 KB. 1024 KB, then we say that it is equivalent to 1 MB. Equivalent to 1 MB means megabyte. This is kilobyte, this is megabyte. 1 MB. 1 MB means how many KB? 1024 KB. Yes? 1 MB means 1024 KB. So we know that if you have latest mobile, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಫೋಟೋನ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, its minimum size 3 to 4 MB. If you take any song, its size 5 MB or 8 MB. Is it clear? Means how many KBs or how many bytes, you just calculate how much it is. Yeah? So 1 MB means it contains 1024 kilobytes. Suppose 1024 MB, 1 MB, 2 MB, 3 MB, 1024 MB, then we say that 1 GB. GB is nothing but gigabyte. Yes? kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte. 1 GB. So nowadays this is a common word, GB. So G stands for a gigabyte. So 1 GB means how many MB? 1024 MB. So we know that today 1 GB data free. So 1 GB data means what? It contains how many MB? 1024 MB. For example, there is a 5 MB file. So 5 MB ಎಷ್ಟು files you can just calculate that much. Is it clear? So this is 1 GB. Suppose there are 1024 GB. So 1 GB over 2 GB, 3 GB, 4 GB, 10 GB, 1024 GB is equivalent to 1 TB. Equivalent to 1 TB. TB means it is not a tuberculosis, it is a terabyte. G stands for gigabyte here. GB. TB means terabyte. 1 terabyte means 1024 GB. Similarly, 1024 TB is equal to 1 petabyte. 1 petabyte. Similarly, 1024 petabyte is equal to 1 exabyte. Similarly, 1024 exabyte is equivalent to 1 zettabyte. Similarly, 1024 zettabyte is equal to 1 yottabyte. So, you just imagine how much of data it is. So, we are normally here TB in terms of, suppose you are purchasing any latest computer or laptop, the capacity is 1 TB and 1 TB means how many GB it contains? 1024 GB it contains. Suppose you are purchasing any mobile, 64 GB or 120 GB. Suppose 64 GB means how many MB it contains? You just calculate. 1 GB is nothing but 1024 MB into 64. That amount of MB data you can store. So these are the some commonly used terms related to memory. Is it clear? So memory is measured in terms of bytes only. See here, everywhere we are using B last. B is nothing but bytes. The next, classification of memory. So normally, just recall that block diagram of computer. In that block diagram of computer, there is the first part, memory, storage. In that, there are two sections, primary memory and secondary memory. In that block diagram, in memory part or storage unit, contain two sections, primary memory, secondary memory, or primary storage, secondary storage. Remember, storage or memory, both are same. Yes, primary storage, secondary storage. So the same thing here, the classification of memory, we classify the memory into two types, primary memory and secondary memory. Primary memory and secondary memory. So let us discuss briefly one by one what do you mean by primary memory. So primary memory is act as the main memory. Remember, the primary memory act as the main memory, means most important memory in computer. Means when you are working with computer or when you are working with mobile, this main memory is very important. So that's why I call it, it acts as a main memory. So it stores program and data which are currently needed by CPU. Yes, this primary memory, it stores the data, whatever the currently running. Mean, suppose if you are working with computer, some application is running. Running means working. So that is stored in primary memory. Suppose in your mobile, I will give the example of mobile only. Suppose if you have opened WhatsApp, that WhatsApp currently running is working. So that is stored in primary memory. If you open any application, whatever open here, whatever the application is running, everything is stored in primary memory. Means what? Whatever the application or program is running, that time the data or instruction is stored on primary memory only. A primary memory kutkonde kelsa ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. Is it clear? So here in primary memory there are two types of primary memory. The first one is RAM and second one is ROM. So RAM stands for random access memory. RAM stands for here random access memory and the ROM stands for read only memory. Random access memory and read only memory. So let us discuss one by one. First one is RAM. So nowadays this word is very common, that is RAM. Suppose if you are purchasing any mobile, what you will say? RAM estada. So what is that RAM? So it is a one type of primary memory. So nowadays 2 GB RAM, 4 GB RAM or 3 GB RAM mobiles you are purchasing. So which one is the best? 1 GB RAM or 2 GB RAM or 4 GB RAM? So we prefer 4 GB RAM. Why? Because we can store large amount of data. Means this is not for actual storage purpose. Whenever the application is running, means you game aadta irbodu or a song kelta agirbodu or some WhatsApp chatting is going on. All application if it runs at a time, everything will be stored on that RAM only. Everything will be stored on that RAM only. For example, 1 GB RAM, there is one mobile, and here there is a 4 GB RAM mobile. Suppose if you are working with 1 GB RAM mobile, start working and you start open some application at a time. On kade WhatsApp open madre, ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸರಿ Facebook open madre, then Instagram or some other videos at a time. So later it will get stuck. Some slow aglik start ಆಗ್ತದೆ. It will become stuck. So if you are working with 4 GB RAM, you start all those applications, whatever you opened here, the same application you start there, but it will not hang and slow agode. Why? Because here this contains 1 GB RAM, this is 4 GB RAM. So RAM is what purpose we are using? Whenever the application or app is running, run agಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ RAM ಮೇಲೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ. RAM ಮೇಲೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ. So suppose this is the RAM. Assume that this is the RAM. Assume that. So yes, this is the RAM. So here ಇಲ್ಲಿ Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter or any other full ಆಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. So when it is full, that time it becomes hang. Is 1 GB. Suppose there are 4 GB RAM. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು 3-4 ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. So that time WhatsApp, Facebook, there are different applications ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರು the space remains. So that's why our phone is slow agode illa. Is it clear? So means what here? The primary memory or RAM ಯಾಕೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ the whenever the application is running, yes, any application downloading ಇರಬಹುದು, ಸಾಂಗ್ ಕೇಳೋದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, at a time whatever the application, ಜಾಸ್ತಿ application at a time work ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, right? So RAM we normally, so user can read and write. A RAM user can store some application as well as the user can read it. That's why the read and write. So normally we call it is volatile memory. Volatile memory means what? Volatile memory. So volatile memory means if the power goes off, means power supply goes off, whatever the RAM contains, everything will be deleted or vanished. Yes, so ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಸಪೋಸ್ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಆರ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅವಾಗ ನಾವು ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಏನು ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ? ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೊಬೈಲ್, ವೇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ 2 minutes and then restart. Everything will be normal. Means that RAM ಯಾವಾಗ ಫುಲ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, it will start become struck. That's why, so the RAM we called it as volatile memory. So volatile memory means if the power supply goes off, whatever the data present on RAM, everything will be deleted. Is it clear? So this is some introduction about RAM. So there are two types of RAM here. The first one is static RAM and second one is dynamic RAM. So static RAM is it's similar to both are same, but in terms of price and capacity is different. So static RAM it is a little bit costlier, high speed RAM, as well as it consumes more power. Where in dynamic RAM it is a cheaper. It is cheaper as well as low speed as well as consumes less power. So there are two types of RAM here. The first one is static RAM and second one is dynamic RAM. So static RAM is a costlier, high speed as well as more power consumes and ಜಾಸ್ತಿ power supply ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Dynamic RAM, it is cheaper, low speed as well as less power consumes. So this is some introduction about RAM. And the second one is ROM. So ROM we called it as non-volatile memory. ROM we called it as non-volatile memory. Non-volatile means here it is a volatile. RAM is a volatile means if the power goes off, suppose this is a RAM, if the power goes off, whatever the data or application present here, everything will be deleted in RAM. That's why we called it as volatile memory. But ROM we called it a non-volatile memory, means whatever present in ROM means read-only memory. So it looks like normally IC, in the shape of IC irtada. So RAM hegiruttade just like a small piece. So in Google, if you just type RAM, you will get the images of RAM. You come to know how the RAM looks like. Yes? So ROM means is a read-only memory. We called it as non-volatile memory. Means the data or instruction whatever present on RAM will not be deleted even if the power goes off. That's why our ROM dalli enta contents anna ನಾವು ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ, we want permanently ಅದು ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಎಸ್, ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ಸ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ROMs. PROM, the first one is PROM, that is programmable read only memory. Second one EPROM, erasable programmable read only memory. Third one electrically erasable programmable read only memory. So these are different types of ROM. So ROM means what? It is a one memory device. It is a non-volatile memory. Means if the power goes off, it will not be deleted. The contents will not be deleted. That's why the system related some settings or softwares we are storing in this ROM. The type ROM. In this type of ROM, it is a programmable. Programmable means we can store something extra. The user can store, the computer engineers can store. That is programmable. We can storeable. Second one, EPROM means erasable as well as programmable. So means it is a one type of ROM. There the computer engineers can store as well as they can erase it. They can delete it. That is another type of ROM. And the third one is EEPROM, means it's not normally simple ಆಗಿ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. How we are deleting? Electrically erasable. ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕಲಿ ಇರೇಸೇಬಲ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮೇಬಲ್. So these are the some introduction about the primary memory. Is it clear? So what we have discussed here? Memory part, memory devices we have discussed. So memory means it is a place in a computer where we can store data and instruction. So how we are measuring the memory? In terms of bytes. So these are different. ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ? 0 and 1 is nothing but bit. Yes, 8 bit means 1 bytes. 1024 bytes is nothing but 1 KB, 1 MB, GB. All those we have discussed. Then classification of memory. Normally two types: primary memory and secondary memory. So here I discussed primary memory. So primary memory act as a main memory, most important memory. Means whatever the application, whatever computer start ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, something is running, everything will be stored on that primary memory. It stores program and data which is currently needed by the CPU. ಆ CPU ಏನು ಆ ಟೈಮ್ ಬೇಗ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡೋದು primary memory. So here there are two types, RAM and ROM. Random access memory and read only memory. So RAM, it is normally called a volatile memory because the contents present in RAM will be deleted if the power goes off. A power supply ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಆ ಡೇಟಾ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ. Suppose the best example, if you are working with computer, suddenly power supply ಹೋಯ್ತು, next computer start ಮಾಡಿದವಾಗ ಅದು ಇರೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? It will deleted means what? When you are working, when you are typing, that time it is on RAM. That's why if it is power supply goes, everything will be deleted. The second one is, so here RAM, there are two types of RAM, static and dynamic RAM. Then the last one is ROM. So ROM is a non-volatile memory. Means even if the power goes off, when you are working with computer, even if the power goes off, the contents will not be deleted. For example, ಈ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, ವೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್, ಪವರ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಹೋಯ್ತು ಅಂತೀವಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದವ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ತದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಡಿಲೀಟೆಡ್. ನಾವು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಗೇಮ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಡಿಲೀಟೆಡ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಡಿಲೀಟೆಡ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್? ದೋಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ROM ಅಂತ. Right? So these are all some introduction about memory. So in the next class we go for the second type of memory, that is secondary memory. Okay? Thank you.